Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. And, it's a very interesting segue because when we talk about our immigrant community and we talk about some of the challenges that folks face in their home countries across the world, the reality is that some of those rights that we are afforded here in the United States of America are not afforded to many others who live across the world in other countries where they don't have a document that is as strong in protecting rights as our U.S. Constitution. And right now, unfortunately, we see ourselves in incredibly divisive times, a time in which we have both sides of government seemingly oftentimes at each other's throats. We have a government shutdown that is upon us, each saying that they're not working with the other. Our network news stations are always giving stories about how we should distrust government and, government is dysfunctional. Confidence in government is really at a low. And there seems to be nothing but bad news about the United States of America. But the reality is that there are a lot of great things that represent us and our country. And when we look at people who are risking their lives to come here from other countries, those that are fleeing violence and insurgency in other countries that want to come here to the United States, there's a lot that we need to celebrate about the rights that are afforded to Americans and why people want to be a part of this great nation. This federal holiday commemorates the signing of the U.S. Constitution on September 17th back in 1787. As we all learned in high school civics class, the Constitution defines our structures of federal government. It is truly the most remarkable political charter in history. And this might not mean much to the average American when they're mired in the modern negativity that we have. But we have to just pause for a moment and say, it's really important for us to still celebrate Constitution Day. And it is because it's a historic document that, when coupled with the Bill of Rights, means that we, the people, all of us, can actually have a government that really serves everyone and also protects our vital rights. And so a lot has changed since 1787. There's no question about that. The Constitution, as originally written, left a lot of people out, left a lot of people's rights out. The long fight for equity and social justice for our African American community, for women and other groups, certainly continues to this day. But one thing hasn't changed. And the great thing about us is that we know that we have to have a government that will continue to protect the individual rights and freedoms for everyone without abusing its powers. That is the story of America. That is the story of the U.S. Constitution, and the reason why we continue to celebrate and lift it up to this very day. And so with that, I turn it over to Councilmember Katz to give us some very interesting perspectives and always gives us some enlightening things about what the Constitution is, what sometimes it isn't, and some of those unique things that you may not know about our U.S. Constitution. Councilmember Katz.
Thank you, Councilmember Rice. It's always a pleasure to present this proclamation with you and with all my colleagues. The United States Constitution is one of the most instrumental documents in the world, serving as a guide for the constitutions for over 100 countries. It's also the oldest and the shortest written constitution of any major government in the world. So you can do a lot of things with a short speech. I just think that should be noted. I will share some fun facts about the Constitution. When the Constitution was signed, the United States population was 4 million. It is now more than 327 million. Philadelphia was the nation's largest city with 40,000 inhabitants. Both Gaithersburg and Rockville, and I guess many other places in Montgomery County, are larger than 40,000 people. George Washington and James Madison were the only presidents who signed the Constitution. As Thomas Jefferson was serving as the U.S. Minister to France, similarly, John Adams was serving as U.S. Minister to Great Britain and was not present to sign the Constitution either. At the conclusion of the Constitutional Convention, Benjamin Franklin observed, the symbol of a half sun on George Washington's chair, and remarked, "I have the happiness to know that it is a rising and not a setting sun." We are very pleased this morning to have Karma Beal join us. I welcome her to please say a few words. Ms. Beal.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Katz, and also to Councilmember Rice. The Constitution is probably one of the most important documents that the United States has, and great care should be taken to preserve it and to abide by it. And there are times when it does have to be amended, and that is provided for in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. The Constitution would never have been adopted had it not been for the promise of the Bill of Rights. And the Bill of Rights is the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. And following along in Councilmember Katz's fun facts, there are a few amendments that never made it out of Congress. And they were never passed, never adopted. And the first of those was an attempt to abolish the United States Senate. And that, of course, would never be passed by the Senate. The Executive Council of 3 to replace the office of president. This was proposed in 1878. In 1916, all acts of war should be put to a national vote, and anyone voting yes had to register as a volunteer for service in the United States Army. That didn't make it out of Congress either. But I think my favorite one that never made it out is American citizens should have the alienable right to an environment free of pollution. And that is becoming very critical at this time. And whether it's ever an amendment to the Constitution, I think that Congress is going to have to do something about the pollution problem. And it's something that all Americans are going to have to take part in. Otherwise, the Constitution is not going to mean much because we won't be around to enjoy it. So the Constitution is very important, and we should pay attention to it and see how we can use the Constitution to make the United States and the world a better place for us and for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Rice, I believe we're going to read a proclamation.
We are, but I just wanted to say thank you so much to Karma Beal, who continues to lift up this document, and just wanted to just play on words as we do with the Constitution for a bit, because her first name is Karma. And, the definition of karma is a characteristic, emanation, or a spirit that infuses or vitalizes someone or something. And Karma, you certainly infuse a positive aspect and vitalize the Constitution each and every time in your role as a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution. So I just want to say thank you to you for continuing to really support this document and to educate folks about how this document should be working for all Americans and for a betterment and continued improvement of the United States of America. So thank you very much, Karma. So with that, Councilmember Katz, we will go ahead and hop into the proclamation. And I'm not sure who's supposed to start first.
Well, according to my notes, you were to begin and read the first two whereases.
Excellent. All right. Whereas the Constitution of the United States embodies the ideas and principles of our founding fathers, supplemented by the wisdom that has reflected in our dynamic republic over 2 centuries. And whereas September 28th, 2021 marks the 234th anniversary of the framing of the Constitution by the 1787 Constitutional Convention, and
whereas the Constitution not only embodies the hopes and aspirations of Americans for liberty and representative government, but also continues to inspire people seeking freedom the world over. And whereas Constitution Week, celebrated September 17th through to September 23rd each year, commemorates the formation and signing of the United States Constitution on September 17th, 1787. And it is proclaimed and it is signed by Council President Hucker, Councilmember Rice, and myself. Thank you very, very much. And thank you, Ms. Beal, for all that you, as Councilmember Rice said, thank you for all that you do for us each and every day as well. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank
And I
you.
turn it back over to you, Council President.
Thanks to both of you and to Ms. Beal. Thank you so much.